From epic cameos hiding in plain sight, to blink and you'll miss them hints at what was waiting around the corner for everyone's favourite misfits. These are those brilliant Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 elements you probably didn't know existed. Until now. Gareth here from WhatCulture.com, and here are 20 things you somehow missed in Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 20, James Gunn snuck his pooch in. A few years before, James Gunn found a way to chuck his beloved pooch by the name of Dr. Wesley Von Spears into his DCEU Suicide Squad outing in 2021, even sweetly naming a cigar brand after the canine. The Guardians of the Galaxy director got Wesley in on the action early into Volume 1 too, as Peter Quill is spotted wandering and eventually dancing across Morag in the film's opening stages. Star-Lord projects a hologram onto the floor which depicts a dog playing with a child. The good boy was none other than the Great Doctor, who sadly passed away in 2020. Number 19, the Collector's Museum is the Easter egg gift that keeps on giving. The second fans properly entered into the Collector's Museum for the first time during the events of that first Guardians flick, most struggled to take in absolutely every single piece of Easter egg awesomeness that was being exhibited in the surreal locale. As the titular unit arrive at the Collector's place on Nowhere, Cosmo the space dog, who will finally get some more time to shine in Volume 3, is briefly spotted. Then fascinating collectibles such as a sovereign cocoon that unfortunately didn't hold a certain Adam Warlock, a member of the Chitauri race that has regularly been seen clashing with Avengers, a dark elf and frost giant from the Thor series, and the slugs from Gunn's own Slither flick can also be found locked away in cases within the museum. The best is unquestionably saved for last though, as none other than the coolest duck in the galaxy is officially re-debuted in the MCU late on. Showing up in the flick's end credits scene, cult hero Howard the Duck, voiced by Seth Green, enjoys a tipple with Benicio del Toro's Bata Collector in the wake of the museum wrecking Power Stone disaster from earlier in the space opera. Number 18, that 12% gag. Heading into the third act, the Guardians gather on the Milano to discuss how they can effectively bring down Ronan the Accuser and get the Power Stone as far away from the big bad as possible without, being brutally killed. And it's in this moment that Chris Pratt's Quill informs the group of losers that he has 12% of a plan. But this wasn't simply a throwaway percentage landed on at random. The MCU has regularly chucked out this number time and time again over the course of its many phases, with Steve Rogers noting to Peggy Carter in the first Avenger that he's only used to crowds of 12 at his propaganda shows, for example. The Avengers also sees Tony Stark and Pepper Potts quipping back and forth about the latter earning 12% of the credit for helping make Stark Tower a success. And Age of Ultron also contained a beat where Pietro Maximoff reminded his younger sibling Wanda that he was 12 minutes older. Simply put, if there's a seemingly random number to be thrown into the mix in the MCU, there's a high chance these specific digits won't be too far away. Number 17, James Gunn's maskless cameo. Coming during the epic sequence that involves Michael Rooker's Yondu utterly blitzing his way through a group of foolish SAKAARANS late in the day, a loudmouth maskless member of the collection of goons is swiftly pierced by the blue-faced legend's whistle-controlled arrow. The person behind this particularly annoying alien presence, you ask? That was very much James Gunn getting in on the Guardians' fun, and helping kick off one of the coolest chunks of ass-kicking the cosmic picture had to offer. But this would not be the last time good old Gunn wiggled his way into the flick. Number 16, Baby Groot's dancing came straight from the director. That is right, the moves that resulted in audiences jigging their way out of theaters back in 2014 and still leave folks bopping along in their living rooms today came courtesy of the mighty Gunn himself. As revealed by the director many moons ago, not only was that 100% Gunn, as Baby Groot opted to shake his wooden booty whenever Drax turned his back late on in Guardians Volume 1, but the mind behind the much-loved feature didn't let anyone witness the dancing brilliance being captured because he was too embarrassed. After sending off the secret footage to animators, Baby Groot's adorable I Want You Back moment was born, and Gunn once again provided the inspiration for Groot's moves found in the opening stages of Volume 2. Number 15, no raccoons or trees were harmed. While the spotlight was quite rightly stolen by everything from Baby Groot's aforementioned cute as all hell moves to Howard the Duck's official arrival throughout Guardians of the Galaxy's end credit sequence, there was actually another much easier to miss cheeky detail that deserved a little bit of love. As the many talented folks who helped bring this outstanding cosmic effort into being were given their moment in the sun, the standard no animals were harmed in the making of this film message, found towards the end of many a big screen entry, was given a brilliant twist. On this occasion, Gunn and the gang chose to put their audience at ease with the parting message of no raccoons or tree creatures were harmed during the making of this film. Ah, well, that's a relief. Number 14, some space prison description gems. The moment which sees the titular gang of miscreants being analysed before getting sent to Kiln Prison brings with it a ton of marvellous detail that can only really be appreciated with a quick slamming of the pause button. When it comes to Zoe Saldana's Gamora, the adopted daughter of Thanos was classed as the last remaining member of the Zihabere after the Mad Titan massacred their planet. Quill is hilariously referred to as Space Lord, on top of his DNA scan having a red light flashing over the top of it, a subtle hint at the eventual reveal that Star-Lord wasn't actually as human as he thought he was. And on top of one of Groot's associates being revealed as a mysterious figure by the name of Tibius Lark during said rap sheet rundown, another rather intriguing name was thrown into the MCU mix during this particular sequence. Number 13, Lady LYLLA'S first mention. Fans quite rightly lost their damn minds when it became clear that Rocket Raccoon looks set to reunite with his comic book love interest Lylla in the upcoming Volume 3, as seemingly revealed in the flick's various trailers heading into the trilogy ending entry. But this isn't actually the first time Lady Lylla has been referenced in the MCU, with Rocket's otter soulmate initially appearing in that aforementioned rap sheet rundown sequence as one of the abused and experimented on anti-heroes associates. The fact Gunn was able to lace this blink and you'll miss it nugget of background detail that will seemingly now eventually be paid off a whopping near decade later is pretty darn impressive, I'm sure you'll agree. Number 12, Nathan Fillion's monstrous cameo FAVOUR. Along with the likes of Michael Rooker and Greg Henry, another much-loved acting sensation has had the honour of appearing in absolutely every one of James Gunn's cinematic offerings. Though you'd be forgiven for completely missing this particularly subtle cameo showing, none other than Firefly's Nathan Fillion did actually rock up in Guardians of the Galaxy's prison section in a vocal capacity. Fillion brought the character of the big blue monstrous inmate to life as a favour to Gunn in the moments involving Peter Quill very nearly being slathered up in Gannavian jelly, before that large alien lifeform quickly found himself being painfully grooted for all to see. Number 11, a hangover purse nod. Voiced by the relentlessly captivating Bradley Cooper throughout his time as an increasingly adored part of the MCU, Rocket Raccoon has supplied the Marvel Universe with some of its finest one-liners to date, and arguably the most easily overlooked quip ever to tumble out of Rocket's mouth actually acts as a pretty blatant lick to one of Cooper's other much-loved showings. With the Guardian making a dig at Quill walking around with a Power Stone in his purse, Star-Lord was quick to correct his pissed-off associate by noting how it was actually a knapsack. Hangover fans all over the globe no doubt clocked the similarities between this scene and the legendary moment in that 2009 comedy modern classic, which saw Cooper's film making fun of Alan's purse, only for Zach Galifianakis' character to point out how he was actually sporting a satchel. Either way, Cooper's characters clearly weren't impressed by these fashion choices. Number 10, a cosmic mural. Peter Quill's Come and Get Your Love jive across Morag also set the stage for another brilliant background detail most fans were too busy getting in the groove to spot. As Star-Lord gets within touching distance of the orb that possesses the all-important Power Stone, a quick glance at the temple vault wall show off some rather wonderful murals. The cosmic entities, the creators of the powerful Infinity Stones, are actually visible in these pieces of art. Infinity, death and eternity all being present. And all 6 coloured stones are also depicted in the artwork too. And if you fancy an even closer look at the rather detailed and gorgeous looking mural, then the already noted collector's sequence on Nowhere also brings with it another shot of the art over Peter's shoulder, as the Infinity Stones are properly explained for the first time. Number 9, the massive on-screen body count. Guardians of the Galaxy isn't exactly a tale that shies away from the darker parts of life, it must be said. In fact, a few years after this first Guardians adventure arrived on the scene, it was reported that James Gunn's film actually ranked as the deadliest Hollywood movie ever made. That's right, the same film that boasts a lovable little tree dancing to the Jackson 5 also brought a staggering 83,871 on-screen deaths to Marvel fans the world over. So the next time you opt to take in this joyous slice of cheeky MCU magic, do so with the knowledge that you're actually taking in one of the deadliest features ever made. Number 8, SAKAARANS filled the BADOON hole. When James Gunn decided that he wanted to use the BADOON race as his Guardians movie's canon fodder, he was rather disappointed to learn that the House of Mouse and Marvel didn't actually own the cinematic rights to use these interesting aliens. 20th Century Fox did. Gunn actually only learned of this annoying reality strangely late in the process, as he put it, with the director even going as far as to admit that the beings that ultimately went on to become SAKAARANS in the film were originally designed as BADOON. With Disney now owning 20th Century Fox and all the Marvel names previously under that banner though, could these creatures that are clearly adored by Gunn finally pop up in a Guardians feature later on this year? We'll have to wait and see, eh? Number 7, London can be seen on Xandar. Not for the first time in Marvel Studios Phase 2, London found itself very much at the centre of the madness. When taking in the buzzing world of Xandar in the 2014 project, everything from the Millennium Bridge to the Lloyd's building were sneakily used to add some real-world detail world to the largely digitalized alien planet. And that former piece of architecture even finds itself being blasted to bits during the epic closing battle on the planet, before Rocket ultimately saves those fleeing for their lives below, of course. Number 6, a character with one hell of a Hulk history pops up. And one of those terrified folks trying their best to keep from being blown to bits on top of that Xandar Millennium Bridge was a rather familiar looking being by the name of Bereet. You know, the pink lady who first pops up on Peter Quill's ship as the date he completely forgot was present, because he's a dick. And it turns out that this seemingly throwaway character actually has a pretty unexpected history with one of Marvel's biggest hitters. Bereet was a techno artist from the planet Krylor in the comics. After discovering the Jade Giant himself, she became so fascinated by the Avengers icon that she created a film project by the name of The Life and Times of the Incredible Hulk, which went on to be shown in the Rampaging Hulk miniseries. The pair even became love interests for a spell, so who knows, maybe Bruce Banner and Bereet's worlds will collide within the MCU at some point too. Number 5, a rather familiar prisoner. Getting to class yourself as one of the few folks to have made an impact on both sides of the Marvel-DC big screen divide isn't quite as rare a feat as it used to be, but being able to say that you pretty much play the same type of character in both separate super spheres certainly is. And in the case of a certain Pete Buzzsaw Holland, the actor's appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy as a prisoner seen taunting Gamora in the Kiln facility actually marked his second time bringing an inmate to life in a superhero entry. A few years before this MCU showing, Holland also showed up in The Dark Knight Rises as a prisoner trying to verbally assist Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne as he tried to escape the pit. Simply put, if you are looking for a convict to scream at your heroes, then Pete is your man. Number 4, Stan Lee's secret catchphrase Easter egg. Before his unfortunate passing in 2018, the late great Stan Lee regularly popped up in the MCU for increasingly creative and always wonderful cameo appearances. And Guardians of the Galaxy was no different, with the Marvel icon showing up during the side-splitting moment which sees Rocket scanning the civilians present on Xandar early on. But with many understandably cracking up at the Raccoons' comments on Lee's character being a Class A creeper as he tries to chat up a lovely lady, most fans missed another glorious Easter egg hidden away in that brief showing. The scroll dialogue that pops up on Rocket's device beside Lee's character can actually be translated to the word Excelsior, a phrase many a Marvel lover will no doubt be aware was the mighty Stan's longtime catchphrase, with the Latin word meaning ever upward. Number 3, the numbers add up to a sequel hint. Some rather dedicated souls actually managed to uncover what appeared to be a hint at Volume 2's plot, buried in the coordinates and various other location titles seen in Volume 1. After figuring out that the coordinates that appear when Ronan's Dark Aster ship arrives on screen for the first time translated to "This is Moms plus Cancer" when you swap the various numbers out for the letters that take their place on the alphabet, a few other locations were put under the microscope. It turns out that both Earth and Nowhere's date and coordinates were far from a coincidence either, with the year we first discover Quill, 1988, and the location of the Collector's Museum roughly translating to Shh and Meredith Quill X, respectively. So when you put those three pieces of secret information together, you get the first real on-screen hint at the tragic revelation that is heading Peter's way in the following volume. Number 2, the regular Gunn FITZGIBBON appearance. James Gunn has also found a clever way to lace another one of his closest mates into each and every one of his flicks that doesn't involve consistently forcing them to step into the spotlight. With one of Gunn's longtime besties going by the name of Larry Fitzgibbon, the much-loved director has gone out of his way to throw a Fitzgibbon into each and every one of his projects, with Guardians of the Galaxy seeing a Dr. Fitzgibbon act as Meredith's attending physician before her death. And Gunn also just so happened to unleash another Dr. Fitzgibbon into the DCEU's Suicide Squad too. That's one way to regularly show one of your closest pals some love, I guess. And number 1, the Easter egg that nobody has still been able to find. And finally, for the moment you've all been waiting for, it's the moment everyone is still sat here waiting for. Yep, despite being one of the most rewatched and celebrated flicks the MCU has ever brought into movie fans' lives, James Gunn is still adamant that even the most passionate of Ravengers out there still haven't managed to fully discover one particularly brilliant Easter egg he dropped into that 2014 masterpiece. According to the mind behind the Guardians though, even if someone were to land on precisely what the whole thing was, he wouldn't be in a rush to confirm it until after Volume 3 hits screens this year, claiming that doing so could actually spoil what is about to land on the big screen in May. So not only will Volume 3 bring with it the conclusion of Gunn's epic era of Guardians goodness, but it'll also hopefully pave the way for the long-awaited reveal of the biggest missed Easter egg of them all. Don't leave us hanging, Gunn, don't do it. And that is our list. Know of any other things that people somehow missed in Guardians of the Galaxy? Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you are down there. Also, if you are hooked on on the feeling you get from these type of lists, then please head on over to whatculture.com and find some more fantastic articles just like the one this video you're watching right this second is based on. I've been Gareth from whatculture.com. Thank you as always for watching this lovely video today. Hopefully I'll see your faces very, very soon, but in the meantime, just be good to yourself. Bye bye!